how would you describe your relationship today?
I feel like we're great friends and co-parents. I am pregnant.
You just keep suckering me into these kids.
I wasn't like planning
I can't
this.
handle all this responsibility.
You're walking to the beach.
You're walking into you. Look at you, you all. Shut the f up.
I feel like I want to cry.
Why?
Just because it's like, it gives me anxiety. And I'm just like, it makes you really like analyze just like where you're at. And then I'm like, sometimes like, what am I doing?
Scott Disick has finally broken his silence, and what he revealed about Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker's marriage is sending shockwaves through Hollywood. For years, he stood on the sidelines, watching, waiting, saying nothing. While the world celebrated Kourtney's whirlwind romance with Travis, the rose-covered beach proposal, the 3 extravagant weddings, the endless red carpet PDA, the birth of baby Rocky, Scott remained quiet. Supportive, at least publicly, respectful, careful. But now, that silence is over. And according to Scott, the fairy tale everyone believed in may have been cracked from the very beginning. To the outside world, Kourtney and Travis looked untouchable, a modern-day rock-and-roll royal romance. Passionate, intense, obsessed with each other, the kind of love that makes headlines and breaks the internet. But what if that intensity was never a strength? What if it was a warning sign? Because behind the roses, behind the designer gowns, behind the steamy Instagram captions and choreographed kisses, Scott claims there was something else hiding in plain sight. Cracks. Not new cracks, not recent cracks. Old cracks. The kind that were buried under spectacle. Let's rewind. Before the weddings, before the baby, before the viral PDA, Kourtney and Travis were just neighbors in Calabasas, friends, occasional dinner companions, 2 single parents living parallel lives in the Kardashian orbit. No one saw it coming. But when friendship turned into romance, it didn't just spark, it exploded. Suddenly, they were everywhere, holding hands, straddling each other at award shows, posting captions that felt more like declarations of obsession than love. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't slow. It was intense. And intensity can be intoxicating. The beach proposal sealed the fantasy. A sea of red roses, flickering candles, a perfectly framed yes. Cameras flashing, family cheering. It felt cinematic. Then came not one wedding, but 3. Vegas spontaneity, Italian luxury, Gothic glamour, every moment curated, every photo flawless, every kiss just a little longer than expected. Fans called them couple goals, a blended family success story, proof that love can bloom after heartbreak. And when baby Rocky was born, it seemed like the final piece of the puzzle, the happily ever after. But Scott Disick wasn't convinced. According to him, what looked like a fairy tale was actually performance art. And he wasn't the only one noticing. Because once you step away from the filtered photos and slow-motion kisses, certain details start to feel different. Let's talk about the shadow that never really left. Years before Travis and Kourtney became a couple, he openly admitted in his memoir that he had a crush on Kim Kardashian. At the time, harmless celebrity trivia. But once he married Kim's sister, that confession resurfaced, and it didn't feel so harmless anymore. Adding fuel to the fire, his ex-wife claimed his admiration for Kim crossed boundaries. Travis denied cheating, but he never denied the attraction. Imagine sitting at family dinners, knowing your husband once desired your sister. Imagine holidays, birthdays, photo shoots. Even if nothing happened, the thought lingers. Scott hinted that this revelation cut deeper than fans realized. He knows Kourtney. He knows how she guards her trust, and once trust is fractured, even subtly, it never fully returns. Then there, Travis's history. A past marked by chaos, infidelity accusations, a lifestyle built on excess. He's admitted himself that loyalty wasn't always his strong suit. Can someone truly change? Or do patterns repeat under pressure? Scott's most cutting suggestion wasn't about jealousy. It was about identity. He claims Kourtney began reshaping herself to fit into Travis's world. Her style changed, her routines shifted, her focus narrowed. Insiders whispered that she was bending, compromising pieces of herself in the name of love. To fans, it looked like a glow-up. To Scott, it looked like erosion. Because when love turns into adaptation, and adaptation turns into control, the dynamic changes. Then came the Blink-182 tour. On Instagram, it looked magical. Family backstage moments, smiles, unity. But reports told a different story. Exhaustion, distance, frustration. Valentine's Day spent in separate cities. A rock star pulled between the stage and his wife. A new mother juggling a newborn, jet lag, and public expectations. That's when the fairy tale began to feel heavy. And then came the detail that made fans pause. Despite the lavish weddings, despite the passionate displays of affection, despite promising forever, they still lived in separate homes, across the street from each other. Separate houses, separate routines. Kourtney even admitted she often co-sleeps with her daughter instead of Travis. For some, it's thoughtful parenting. For others, it raises a question. How inseparable are you if you don't share a roof? Scott didn't miss the symbolism. To him, the over-the-top PDA began to feel like compensation, like reassurance, like something being proven instead of simply lived. And now that he's finally spoken openly, his message is clear. This wasn't built on quiet, steady foundation. It was built on spectacle, on intensity, on performance. Fans are divided. Some say Scott is bitter, jealous, unable to move on. Others believe he's the only one brave enough to say what many were already thinking. Because Scott isn't just a random critic. He's the father of Kourtney's 3 children. He spent nearly a decade inside her world. He knows the difference between reality and storyline. And if he's right, this may not be a rough patch. It may be the unraveling. So now the question isn't whether cracks exist. It's whether they can survive them. Was this love story always doomed by its own intensity? Did old secrets, sibling rivalry, and public pressure slowly chip away at something fragile? Or are we witnessing a high-profile marriage being unfairly dissected by the spotlight? One thing is certain. When it comes to the Kardashians, what you see is rarely the whole story. And if history has taught us anything, it's this. The bigger the fairy tale, the louder it falls. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Scott is speaking out of bitterness or brutal honesty? Are Kourtney and Travis heading toward divorce? Or is this just another storm they'll survive? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want the real breakdowns, the untold angles, and the next twist before it explodes across headlines, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Because in this family, the drama never sleeps.